is also on Facebook and will be streaming live today. We are hosting another event next week in Arabic and intend to hold several events on Zoom in various languages, so all of our communities can benefit from YourB interest-free savings and loans. Please get in touch via the chat box or our website if you would like us to present in your community. It gives me great pleasure to announce the first anniversary of YourB, the first Sharia compliant credit union in the UK. And I am delighted to say that we are entering our second year as a credit union. Well done, everybody involved. My name is Shanaz. I'm one of the early members of YourB, and I'm part of Friends of YourB. When I learned about YourB 12 months ago, I asked myself the same questions that you might be thinking of now, such as, what is a credit union? Why is this different to other ways of saving and taking a loan? Who are YourB and what is special about YourB? How do I join YourB? As I also believe in ethical interest-free savings and loans. Who are the friends of YourB and what do they do? We aim to answer all of these questions and more during the event today. YourB to me is a vision of the future that I have been waiting for since I was 8 years old. My older sister used to take me to the local branch of the TSB every 2 weeks with my savings book in hand and my pocket money, and I'd skip along the street to my bank. And I would see my savings written in the book and watch the amounts grow and grow over the months. When I had saved enough money and wanted to buy something, I'd withdraw my money and feel the satisfaction of paying for my own book or game in full with my own savings. When I was older, I opened saving accounts with my local high street bank for myself and my own children. And I wanted an interest-free savings account, but this was not possible. So I had to take the interest, however small, and remember to give it away to a charity at the end of the year. YourB has allowed me to save interest-free. It's run by people in the community who I know and trust. It's a not-for-profit way of saving money and taking an interest-free loan. I can save for my children's future education or their weddings or my new dream extension and take an interest-free loan when I've saved enough. While my money is with YourB, my savings are helping other members in YourB achieve their dreams too. As the money is being put to good use, and this makes me feel happy that I'm able to do a small amount of good for others while I'm also saving for myself. YourB is a gift. YourB is the best kept secret that we need to share with others so they have a choice to avoid interest in their savings and loans, which benefits our children, our communities, and our generations to come. We hope you enjoy today's event and learn about what YourB can offer you. I am delighted to introduce Dr. Mona Abdulaziz, the founder and chair of YourB. Salam, Dr. Mona. And congratulations on your first year.
Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. We're delighted to be celebrating the first year of YourB. And really the story of YourB, how did that start? I'm one of the founders. And when my son wanted to go into university, I realized that the Student Finance UK was interest-based and the interest kicked in from the first day of university. And that worried me a lot. And I was really looking for a way in which I could make sure that my son went to university interest-free, but also his friends and everyone else and all of the children in our community. So I'm just moving on to the next slide, just to show you what we mean. So if you look at a 3-year university degree, where someone has to pay £9,250 each year, when they borrow from Student Finance UK, by the end of the 3rd year, they will have borrowed much, much more than the interest would have added to their loan. So instead of actually having to pay £27,750, with the total with interest added on from the first day, every year consecutively, they would owe nearly £31,000, and they're still a student in university, they haven't graduated yet. And of course, if they were to borrow maintenance at the same time as well. So for example, somebody who needed £16,000 loan for both tuition and maintenance, by the end of the 3 years, well, they're still a university student, they would have borrowed £48,000 for the degree and the fees, but actually what they owe is £53,500. And these are just the estimates applying the fees and charges as they are today. So as you know, with inflation in 3 years' time, those may have increased substantially. And this really goes against all of our values in Sharia view, because interest is just really not allowed. And if people can afford to pay for their own fees, then they don't need to borrow. That's one solution, but not everybody can afford to pay up front. So they will need to borrow somehow, and having to find an interest-free solution. If you look at the repayments once they've graduated, we know that they will have, if you have a loan from student finance, you can keep paying that out of everything that you earn out of your income for the next 30 years. And that will be 9% of all your income if you've borrowed for an undergraduate loan. But if over and above that you've had to borrow for your postgraduate degree, that would be 6% of all your income, over and above a certain threshold. So I've just used an example of someone in their first year, that actually in the first year, the interest would be over £1,000 and the repayments would be below that. So their loan will grow by over £300 just in that first year. And you can see how that multiplies. So in their career, they'll continue to pay 6%, 9%, or 15% of their income over and above the threshold. Remember, this is money that they could have saved for their children's future. So there are alternatives. I mean, we've been promised a Sharia compliant version for Student Finance UK, and doing the rounds at the moment, there's a lobby asking Parliament to actually bring this forward. It was promised for a long time, but even so, remember, it will be designed to match the current scheme. And so even though it won't be interest bearing, the same financial burden will be placed upon individuals who pick up the takaful alternative finance solution or the regular student finance solution. So what can we do about this as a community? Well, we can look for apprenticeships, that is where the employer pays for the degree. We can look for scholarships and bursaries. We can borrow interest-free from family and friends. And there's a whole lobby around trying to make sure that students who need a halal version can find one. And you'll find out more information from halalstudentloans.co.uk. But actually really, really pleased to say now, YourB is a game changer. We're now offering a solution for the community to save for our children's future. We've been authorized on the 21st of January by the financial regulators, even though, remember, it's actually been a long journey that we've had 5 years in which we were able to set up. So from January 2015. And now we're delighted as the founders and the current members to open up our membership to new members. And so that we invite you to be part of our story. We are a unique organization that brings our families together, your families with us, and all of our communities, offering a solution for education and a solution for interest-free ethical finance. So these are some of the examples of how YourB can help you spread the cost of an undergraduate degree or a postgraduate degree of a professional development. For an undergraduate degree, you still need to save for quite a long duration because you are asking for a substantial loan. At the moment, if you were to take out a small loan from YourB, because we are starting small, you can actually save for 3 years, and the amount is £250. And at the end of the graduation, you'll be repaying £300 a month. So actually, you can see that it's affordable. It's along the same lines. So you're spreading the cost. And if it's a postgraduate degree, then you can save a smaller amount. And for professional development, you can save an even smaller amount for a shorter duration. So these are examples in which you can spread the cost of education for yourself, or it could be for your family, or it could be for the future. So remember, this is a solution for you. YourB has been supported by many organizations. We'll hear from some of them, but I really just wanted to thank all of our supporters. Our supporters have not just been from the Muslim community. The credit union sector has been amazing because they recognize that this is filling a gap for us and for our communities. I'll hand over now to Shahnaz to arrange. So over to
Thank you so much, Dr. Munna. I'd like to welcome Dawn Fair, the CEO of UK Credit Unions Limited.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'd just like to say huge congratulations on your first anniversary. We're really proud to have been able to support you through your journey and continue to support you as you develop and grow. As I'm sure you'll gather throughout the whole event, YourB is a unique type of credit union, the first Sharia compliant credit union in the UK. But also you've also now become a pioneer, because we've got other study groups coming through who want to replicate what you're doing. And I noticed Tajdeen's on the webinar, which I'm really thrilled about, because Vanguard Community Credit Union are copying what you're doing. They've been trying to get a credit union going along the same lines, and they're becoming a pre-application stage already. So that's really thrilling for us to see another credit union coming through. But like Dr. Mooner explained at the beginning, it's been a really long journey. When we very first went to a meeting, and one of the first things I said to Dr. Mooner was, you don't want to know everything up front because it will put you off. It's a long, hard journey to set up a credit union. You need dedicated and committed people over a long period of time. And it's only as you go through that journey, you realise how much work there is in building a credit union, so that when it is registered, you know that it's a well-developed and committed organisation, and it's not a fly-by-night, and it won't just close down. There's been a lot of work put into it. So I'd just like to offer all thanks and praise to all your dedicated team. You've put in so much work over the past 5-6 years, and you continue to give so much to it as well. And we couldn't ask for more as a trade body. We're so proud that you've got to where you are already, and we will continue to support you forever. So we just wish you well for the future, and you're blessed with every success.
Thank you so much for that, Dawn. It's been a pleasure working with you as well. Our next presenter is a founder of YourB, Mazita Abdurrahman, and she will talk about how to join YourB.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Can you all hear? I hope you can hear me. My name is Mazita Abdurrahman, and I am the secretary of YourB Credit Union. You might wonder what credit unions are, if some of you have not heard of it. Credit unions are small non-profit organizations set up by our members with something in common to benefit the community. So we are savings and loans cooperatives where members pool together savings to lend to one another and to help run the credit union. This is done without any profit, so the money earned from loans are used to run our services. Like all credit unions, YourB is authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority and the Prudential Regulation Authority, and all our member savings are backed by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. So we are not for profit and your money is safe. And we can help you by encouraging saving what you can and borrowing what you can repay. And YourB is unique in that it has been set up by members to save firstly for education. So how do you say you can join YourB? So our common bond, so what links us together is that are these organizations. If you're a member of Ansar Finance, UK Islamic Mission, if you study at Al-Manar Arabic School, if you go to Youth Shine, and if you go to some places of worship in Manchester and regional places of worship. But don't worry if you're not on this list. If you want to come forward and discuss with us, your organization, we are already in discussions about with some organizations and charities about how they can join YourB. So you can, your savings, if you join YourB, will help. Not only, obviously, you can save up for things like Hajj or Umrah or marriage or even large purchases, but also unexpected events. And you can save with YourB through just small savings over time, like some of my members already do, or you can transfer lump sums across into YourB savings. So our target is to join members every month. And we also fundraise, and my colleague Yasser will talk about how we go about doing that. So if there's any questions, or you can type it through the comments and we will look through them, or you can email us. That's it. Thank you. Back to you, Shahnaz.
Thank you so much, Mazita. So now we know how to join YourB. Samir Al-Ahmad is from Ihsan Islamic Finance and YourB Sharia Advisor. Salam, Samir.
Assalamu alaikum, and assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm pleased to be here with you today just to share some thoughts with you. And I will be talking about what it means for YourB and the credit union to be Sharia compliant credit union. So when we talk about Islamic finance is a system of undertaking financial transactions that exclude certain financial practices that we are familiar with in the conventional finance system. Some of which we know, which basically the main and most prominent feature of Islamic finance, that it is interest-free finance, where the relationship of borrowing and lending on interest is forbidden. But that's not the only thing. There are many other aspects for the benefit of the contracting parties within an Islamic finance transaction. For example, uncertainty is prohibited, ambiguity is prohibited, cheating in terms of the financial transactions, misleading, misrepresentations, all those aspects that could lead to dispute between the parties would nullify any financial transaction that involves any of those aspects. Also, another important thing is how the transaction is conducted. Was there an underlying asset or not that was traded as part of this transaction? So to explain this further, I would outline 4 key points for Islamic finance or any Islamic finance organization such as YourB, in order to be compliant with Sharia. So the first one is the governance. So every Islamic finance organization or entity should have an independent Sharia advisor. This advisor will guide the board, will guide the team within the company, like YourB, in order to be compliant with Sharia in everything they do. And this is an important layer of governance within the Islamic finance sphere. The second one is everything that the Sharia compliant financial organization do should be underpinned by an asset. So there has to be an asset traded in order to generate profit, or to charge, let's say, profit or rent on the various financial transactions. And that would legitimize the return on these financial products rather than the borrowing, lending, interest-based relationship that we know in conventional finance. So this is a very important part, and we have around 12 contracts within Islamic finance. Each one could be used for different reasons and different purposes related to the commercial outcome desired by the parties, by the financial structuring of the product or the financial agreement, and other related aspects. And the key element of this product is profit sharing. Profit sharing in terms of savings, and profit and risk sharing in terms of assets, financing, and other products as well. So moving on to the third aspect. So it's not enough for any Islamic financial institution to have Sharia advisor and to say all our products are signed off and approved by the independent Sharia advisor as Sharia compliant products. The whole process from start to finish has to be Sharia compliant. So the credit union, for example, YourB will not be able to borrow or raise funding on interest. We say our products are Sharia compliant, but we can raise funding and we pay interest for that. That's why YourB requires your support as the community. You support YourB by depositing with YourB, by making donations to YourB in any way to be able to be sustainable and serve its community. And hopefully, inshallah, with time, YourB started now with very basic products, which is a very good and excellent start. And a few years down the line, hopefully, YourB will be able to provide more products, possibly more sophisticated finance products and savings products to its members and the community. So this is the process in terms of the operational process, the finance process, the calculation of dividends and other aspects, the calculation of fees. So the entire process has to be compliant with Sharia. It's not only one aspect. And this is what the Sharia advisor and the board, the management of the Islamic financial institutions should ensure. And this is what has been done in YourB. The fourth and final aspect is related to the culture, the conduct, that we ensure what we do as a financial organization, Sharia compliant financial organization, meet the needs of our community and our stakeholders and be responsible in everything we do. So all the ethical aspects related to Islamic finance would be applicable in this category in terms of how the product is processed, how the product is sold to members. Was it clear? Was it transparent? Nothing is hidden, no cost undisclosed, or risk not being clearly identified and explained. So all those aspects are important in terms of enforcing the ethical culture and conduct within any Islamic finance organization. So overall, this is the key underpinning aspect of any Islamic finance organization. And I guess I should conclude here because I reached my time. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for explaining that, brother. Our next speaker is Anjim Zulfikar, and he's the chair of Ansar Finance. Salam and welcome. Salam, brother. Are you there? Brother Anjim.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you so much. Yeah.
See my slides?
Yeah, we can see your slides as well.
So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'll start with YourB. Obviously, the first completion of the first year, which is in itself is a achievement of a great milestone to have successfully completed the first year. Obviously, YourB is like first Sharia compliant credit union in the UK. So I encourage everyone, all of our members, whoever has logged in now, to kind of join YourB hand in hand in making it a success for us and obviously for our generations going forward. So as Ansar, I'm chair of Ansar, so we support YourB as a, as an organization which can flourish because the basic ethos, basic principle for both of the organizations are the same, which is fighting against the riba and making sure that we can provide some sort of Islamic products to our communities so that they don't have to fall with the interest and all that. So that's about YourB. So please support everyone wherever you can. I'll go on to talking about Ansar a little bit. Ansar Finance, can't get my slide moving. Just 1 minute. So Ansar Finance, we were founded in 1994 as the first interest-free loan provider in the UK. And truly, honestly, obviously, there are other providers in the market now, but truly speaking, Ansar Finance is still the only pure interest-free loan provider in the UK. We have provided over 25 years, almost over £4 million of loan to our communities and saved over £1 million of interest to our communities. So, you know, the message here is obviously because YourB, Ansar, whichever way it is, we are all trying to make sure that we can have some alternative finance solution available for our community. So please support us both wherever you can. Become members of YourB, become member of Ansar, become donors of Ansar, and you've got the details there. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our website is there. You can contact us at admin@ansarfinance.org. And thank you for listening, basically.
Oh, Jazakallah. Thank you so much, brother. You've been a great support from the beginning for YourB. Last but not least is brother Yasser Sati, the chair and friends of YourB. Welcome, brother.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Just want to share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen and we can see you as well. Thank you.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasser Sati. I'm the chair of Friends of YourB and also a member board for YourB Credit Union. Welcome everyone. And inshallah, I'll talk about Friends of YourB. Friends of YourB is, with the motto you can see, they're reaching out to the communities. Basically, is the touch point and the interface between YourB Credit Union and the community. And the communities we're trying to add value to through the services of YourB Credit Union. Let's see. Slide. Yep. So briefly, inshallah, I will talk about who we are, Friends of YourB, what we do, and the activities, and how to get in touch, inshallah. Firstly, what is Friends of YourB? It's a outreach community for the community. It's basically an unincorporated community group, which comes a group of volunteers who believed in the cause and for YourB Credit Union. And through this group of volunteers, we will try to work to the communities so that we can talk about the products and the objectives and what YourB is trying to do, and help people to become members of whether individuals or organizations to become members of the YourB Credit Union, build savings with it, and so on. So basically, we are the people on the field, which will the communities will see as a face of YourB Credit Union. This group of volunteers come from different backgrounds, but the unite them is the cause for the YourB Credit Union. So they bring on a lot of different experiences in different areas, but through their this belief in YourB and what it's doing will help, inshallah, to make a successful story of YourB Credit Union. Just to put in context what we do, the YourB Credit Union itself, I'll just go briefly just to let people to know about it. It's vision saving for our children's future to reduce the burden of student debt. Its mission set up as the first Sharia compliant credit. In terms of values, it's a grassroots community-based initiative, ethical, inclusive, open to all who are looking for ethical finance. In terms of purpose, ethical cooperative for education, personal development, entrepreneurship. In terms of the goals of the YourB Credit Union, invest in education, entrepreneurship, personal development, life skills, and promoting savings and setting aside nest eggs. So these are the ethos and the foundations for the YourB Credit Union. Once we look at that, then we can see as your Friends of YourB, this group of volunteers, how we make that bridging between what YourB Credit Union stands for, what it's trying to achieve, how to realize that within the community. So in Friends of YourB, what we do, we promote YourB Credit Union products and services. So whether the savings, the loans, and all the things that YourB Credit Union set up to do, we will reach out to the communities and orient them about that. We seek new potential common members. Common bond members are actually, these are organizations, because you've got who can become members, as Marzita earlier was saying. You can have common bond members, these are organizations, and you can have individuals like households and so on, whom can become members and then have their savings with the credit union. Also, we seek external funding for hardship fund, managed fundraising aspects for YourB. We provide feedback on YourB Credit Union project and service. Obviously, as we interact with the community, we'll have a lot of questions, feedback, and so on. So we will relay that to YourB Credit Union, so we can, as things evolve within the people's lives, could be new products or tweaks and so things like that. So it's a feedback loop that we give the YourB Credit Union. We also offer advice to students, families regarding careers, life skills, attitude to debt, other aspects valued by YourB members. So we have like advisory services, so we can help the communities to, basically it's centered around finances, but also there is other things that we can help on, so we can help the community. We manage, in terms of activity, we manage the marketing, fundraising, and the digital presence for YourB. When they talk about website, social media, and also on behalf of YourB Credit Union. So marketing and fundraising, these are the two key things that we do at Friends of YourB. So that translates in terms of the activities on the ground, what we do. In terms of marketing, we create content expressing the value of YourB Credit Union products and services, and that will be reflected in terms of brochures, content on social media, website, and to answer questions by the community and explaining and promoting all the values and all the service that YourB Credit Union do. In terms of sales, it's not sales in the real terms in that sense, but we reach out to community to convince them to save for the future with YourB Credit Union. So that's our members or volunteers. They will be reaching out to the community, whether common bond or individuals. We also do the donations fund management, meaning that we receive the donations, reconcile them, and send them to YourB Credit Union. That's part of the things that we do. Fundraising management, seeking and gathering voluntary financial contribution by engaging individuals and businesses. We set up events and things like that where people can, whether organizations, individuals, whoever is interested with the cause of YourB, they can donate and save with YourB. We provide advisory services, which is, as I mentioned earlier, youth, future careers, life skills, savings, and debt management. I will concentrate here on the youth thing, because at the end of the day, with the community, YourB is trying to, as Dr. Mona mentioned at the start, is saving for the future for our children. So part of that is not just that we encourage the families and things to save, but also will help to develop skills for the youth in terms of life skills and experiences which they can use to complement their financial well-being. Digital presence, that in terms of, as I mentioned, we manage the website, the social media, others on behalf of YourB Credit. So these are the activities which Friends of YourB do on behalf of YourB Credit Union. By that, I'll finish, inshallah. If you want to get in touch with us, and friends@yourb.org. And really in this area, this is Friends of YourB is the touch point for the community. So people who would like to know more, people who would like to save, to join members, so they can get in touch with us, and we'll help them to explain things to them, how to onboard and support YourB Credit Union, inshallah. Jazakum Allah khair.
Jazakallah, brother Yasser, and he's presenting on behalf of Friends of YourB. So if you want to join YourB, the information is there. Now I'm going to go to all of our panelists, and if you have been answering any questions in the chat box, I'm going to ask each one of the panelists if they would like to comment on any of the questions, or in general, if they'd like to raise any commonly asked questions that have arisen over the year. So if I could start with Dr. Munna.
Thank you very much. Yes, no, there are lots of questions I know that are coming at us either in the chat or in Facebook, but we've also got our frequently asked questions page on our website where some of the questions may be answered and you can find out more information. I think people are asking particularly, well, I need a loan now. Let's just use example, I'm going to university this September, so can you help me? And of course, I've been receiving these questions quite a lot. And what we can say is we are a small organization and we need people to support us to put their savings in with YourB to help us loan them out for people who need them now. So there are lots of alternatives for someone who's going to university this September. So they can look at alternatives like apprenticeships, as I mentioned earlier, but also loans from families and friends. The important thing is you have to keep your costs down. Whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to save, you have to keep your expenditure low. So actually, it's really, really good practice to start saving, because then it shows you how you can start to build up your own, nest egg. And you can put that within YourB until it's there for yourself when you need it. But if you're going to university this September, really look out for ways in which you can get a scholarship or a bursary and so on. So our message now to families is start to save now. For one thing, you're building your own nest egg. For the other thing, your savings are being used with YourB to loan out to people who need them now. And it's also a life habit. Our members are members for life. Those who really believe in YourB will be with us for the long term. They'll start off with YourB as savers. At some point, they may need to borrow, but they can continue to save even after they pay back their loans. So remember that you have to keep saving. Another question we're asked is, it's interest free, so is it really free? Well, no, there's nothing free. We're entirely run by volunteers. We are keeping our costs down, but there are still costs which, unfortunately, we have to pass on to our members. And we try to do that in a fair and equitable way. So we are keeping our fees as low as possible, and we need your support to do that. So I'll just end with one of the questions that came to me in the chat. So how different are you from credit union? And how different are you from Ansar, for example? Well, we're different from credit unions because we're Sharia compliant. And I know Dawn may want to pick up on this point. But particularly what's different between us and Ansar are asking for your donations. So you're going to donate something and give it to Ansar, and you're going to leave the reward for God's grace, which was brilliant. And Ansar trustees are doing a tremendous job, and we thank them for that. But remember, with YourB, the money we loan out is your savings. So it's actually whatever you have in the bank right now can be put into YourB. And that's the difference between YourB and Ansar. So YourB, I'm managing your money to loan out to other people. It stays with you. It's still your money. It is not a donation that you're giving away. So it is there if you need it. It is there when you need it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mona. Now I'm going to unmute, ask brother here, Rafiq, to unmute himself because he has a question, and I'd like this one to be addressed to Dawn, who represents the credit union. So if you're there, Rafiq, would you like to ask that question?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I think my question has already been answered. My question was, how different was depositing the money with YourB, saving the money with YourB, different from saving within a traditional high street bank?
Dawn, would you like to answer that as well?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. The difference with banks, build societies and credit unions is credit unions are all about the members. The members operate the credit union, they run the credit union, they manage the credit union, they look after it for each other. Everyone who has a single pound in the credit union has an equal share, an equal vote at voting times at AGMs. It's all about the members with the credit union. There's no outsiders taking any profit from it. There's no outsiders benefiting from it. It's all about the members. And as long as you've got at least £1 saved, you're an equal member, the same as everybody else.
Thank you, Dawn. I'd like to ask, is it Lanry Bello to unmute themselves? There you go. And would you like to address Marzita, because she deals with how to join YourB and the logistics of YourB? So if you're there. Is it Lanri Bello? Otherwise, I'll ask you a question for you. No, maybe not. One of the questions was, how has YourB been able to sustain its staff rent throughout the first year, especially in the pandemic? So Marzita, can you help us with that?
Yes, alhamdulillah, because all our staff and volunteers are unpaid in the organization, we don't use any of the funds that we had for the startup and to run the credit union. It is simply to run for services. So we pay for the regulatory fees, for example. So we don't pay ourselves basically. So and we've managed to be and because of Ansar's generous donation, we are being hosted by them at their premises. So alhamdulillah, we've covered in that aspect. And actually, since the pandemic, we've had to work remotely as well. So it's been a blessing in a way, but also that we are able to still sustain our services whilst in the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. And also, does it matter where in the country you're based in order to join YourB?
Well, technically, no. Because of our common bond, organizations can be from throughout the UK. Yeah, so we can still join organizations and members from across the UK into YourB.
Oh, thank you so much, Marzita. Now, this is a query for Samir from the Sharia perspective. What are the commonly asked questions that people have, especially Muslim people, when they are making savings and also taking loans? What have you noticed that they seem to ask? What are their concerns and their ideas about having interest-free savings and loans through a credit union?
I think the key thing is the education and awareness of how Islamic finance works. So some of the questions, they just want to assure themselves, is it truly Islamic or it's just semantics, changing the word interest with a profit? So this is one of the key themes, which, as I mentioned, it's basically Islamic because it's based on Islamic finance principles. It completely doesn't involve interest or lending and borrowing on interest basis as we know it conventionally. There has to be an Islamic finance principle underlying the contract, whether on savings account, for example, we have profit sharing agreement, we have agency investment agreement, wakala, and profit sharing agreement, mudaraba. In terms of providing finance, the basic Islamic finance principle is Qard Hasan, which is the interest-free loan being offered by YourB. So this loan should be a benevolent loan, and it shouldn't generate any interest. But how Islamic finance organizations like YourB, banks, and other Islamic finance institutions generate profit by providing finances under the ijara, the lease agreement, or murabaha credit sale agreement, or other Islamic finance agreement that charges profit. However, it is executed by selling and buying an underlying asset involved in the transaction. And that's what makes it Sharia compliant and acceptable from Sharia perspective. So while it might look similar to conventional financial product, there is an underlying transaction that involves the real economy in terms of undertaking this Islamic finance product and offering it to the end user or consumers.
And also, other interested parties, like-minded people who may not be Muslim, can join YourB.
Of course, Islamic finance is an inclusive system, so it's open to everyone. And we know that there are many non-Muslims joining Islamic finance institutions and taking up those Sharia compliant products because they feel that Islamic finance or Islamic financial institutions are ethical institutions, and those non-Muslim consumers who are ethically oriented, they are very much drawn into banking or taking financial products offered by Islamic financial institutions such as YourB that offers Sharia compliant products.
Thank you for your answer there. I'm going to move on now to Brother Anjim from the Ansar Finance. You have been with us with YourB from the beginning, and you've been a Common Bond member. So would you just like to remind us what it means to be a Common Bond member, and also how you found being a Common Bond member?
I think probably Sister Mona can explain that better, but Common Bond member is a member who supports YourB in terms of their operations and existence. And then anyone who is associated with a Common Bond member, they can become member if I'm correct, without paying any fees or anything, become a member of the YourB. And why we become the Common Bond member is because Ansar Finance Group was established 25 years ago, and our cause is, like making sure that we can provide interest-free solutions to the communities in the UK. Any organization who comes in that under the same umbrella, under the same ethos, we will always try to support that project, like we've done with the YourB. And absolutely pleasure to support YourB, and how future oriented organization that is after completing the first year, and we'll continue supporting that. And I'll encourage everyone to join, encourage everyone to become member, encourage everyone to even donate to Ansar Finance. And just last reminder, Ramadan is only 3 months away, and obviously a lot of Muslims around the world, particularly in UK, they'll be paying their zakah in the next 3 months, up to a month, and even in the month of Ramadan. So please remember Ansar when you paying your zakat, because we will package your zakat together to help a lot of people living in the UK. And you would not even believe that how many people sleep on the floors in this cold winter, don't have food to eat. People have perception that in UK it's a very, everyone has everything, but no. Please support us so that we can support your brothers and sisters out there. And we're open, for anyone to become volunteer, inquire anything from us, inshallah.
Thank you, brother. Just to clarify, would Mosita or Dr. Mona like to explain about the membership fee and the annual membership?
Yes, so I'll respond to this. So all credit unions, the way they are run, and Dawn as well knows, all credit unions do charge a joining fee and an annual fee to all members. So for us, that's £5 to join and £5 to every year to stay. That's for adult members. So children who are under the age of 16, we don't charge them that membership fee. For people who need to borrow, then of course there are costs involved within that whole process. And the whole reason why YourB was set up was to make sure that we have enough funding that members have contributed in the pool that we can loan out. So many of our transactions will be about loans, so giving out a loan and accepting the loan repayments and so on, actually processing those loans. So there is a loan administration fee. And all of that is tightly controlled within a Sharia environment, as Samir has explained.
And Mosita, thank you. And Mosita, would you like to explain about Common Bond? Because there might be some people on this talk at the moment, and they might want to become a member of YourB, but they have to join through a Common Bond member. So could you explain what type of group or organization could become a Common Bond member and how they go about joining YourB?
So we, as an organization, have decided that our CON members should share our strategic kind of vision of obviously providing fair and accessible education for all. So we're more inclined towards youth groups and organizations, but equally any members of the community, that can come forward and let us know if they share these common values of providing ethical, inclusive savings can join us.
And also, you reaching out. This meeting that we're having today is one of the ways we're celebrating the first year of YourB, but also reaching out to communities, aren't we? And we're going to be doing a follow-up with other meetings in the next few weeks.
Yes, so
Can
we
you tell
are
us a little
reaching
bit
out
about that?
to members of Al Manar School who or any Arabic members. We're starting some webinars, different languages. So we're starting off with an Arabic webinar to reach out to the Arabic speaking members of our community.
And that's next week, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's next week.
And you're also hosting other events in the next few weeks in different languages, not just Arabic?
If the demand is there, we can arrange for speakers to speak in various languages in order to reach out further into the community.
And how would a common bond, if somebody was on this talk today, if they wanted their organization to join, what would be the best way of communicating with you?
So you can either, the best way is to email us either from our website or at info@yourb.org.uk. A lot of our marketing materials and information, like frequently asked questions, are there, including how to join.
Thank you for that. And Brother Yasser, you've been a friend of YourB. You're the chair of the Friends of YourB. And would you like to outline what the plans for the coming year are?
Assalamu alaikum. I mean, yes, I mean, obviously it's the first year for YourB. I mean, our focus currently, because I've seen in the chats people asking about getting loans, people focusing on loans and things. But we have to put this in context in the sense that it's the first year for YourB, and actually giving loans is a function of how much savings has been aggregated with YourB. So our immediate focus is actually getting memberships on board, whether mainly common bond organizations, because we believe they will be helping to increase the savings rapidly as opposed to having individuals in that sense. So our main focus in the next few months or the year is to onboard common bond organizations, which they can have savings, transfer savings from their traditional high street banks into YourB. And that could be a common bond organization can have up to 15,000 pounds. Dr. Mona Marzita can correct me on that. 15,000 pounds, which they can transfer to you by savings. And from that, then the facilitation for loans will be available. So immediately we're reaching out to common bond organization, and the whole focus actually of this webinars today is to market about YourB and letting people know about it, and for organizations to see how they can service their communities through YourB by being part of as a common bond for YourB Credit Union, that and transferring savings into YourB Credit Union, that will facilitate having loans for children's schools, whether Muslims or non-Muslim. But at the end of the day, we're helping local communities. So in that sense, yes, this is the focus for us for next year, is to increase the savings for YourB Credit Union through common bond organizations, because there's the key. And obviously through that we will have individual members, as Dr. Mena mentioned. You also have individuals can go on board. So yeah.
And are we going to be reaching out to other organizations, charitable organizations who just want to make a donation? Because there are some people who might want to make their will, or they might want to just donate, just so they benefit other people in the community. Because at the end of the day, it's our own future children and generations to come who will benefit from these savings and loans.
Yes, definitely donations part of that one. I mentioned in terms of the activities we do fundraising. So that will be around through that. There will be people who wants to donate and things like that. That's one of the areas that we'll be definitely working on. So it's not just organizations or combined organizations, individuals who are becoming members, but also of people who wants to donate. That definitely be one of the ways that people can provide savings for YourB, inshallah.
Jazakallah. Do any of the panelists want to add anything before we close today's meeting? If you'd like to unmute yourselves and
Can I just to add, Dr. Marwan, she started, she delved in terms of what YourB does. Can just for the benefit of those who first time hear about YourB, give milestones of her experience of establishing YourB in terms of before becoming certified. What is the key milestones that she went through before becoming a reality?
So I'm really pleased to say that in January 2015, the idea was started, and it was a group of friends. And I was explaining the idea, and someone said to me, "That sounds like a credit union." I said, "What's a credit union?" So actually, that's the best kept secret. All credit unions are the best kept secret. So in 2016, we managed to get support from Ansar. They were our first supporters. And of course, when you have an informal group setting up, the steering group, when they have a credible organization who understand the market supporting you, hosting you, that was for us a milestone. And then we were introduced to UK Credit Unions Limited, who are the trade association for credit unions. And to be honest, we approached other trade associations, but UK Credit Unions Limited are unique. They supported us every bit of the way. They believed in us when we were nervous. And I think that was an incredible milestone for us, and we must really thank Dawn and colleagues who helped us through the authorization process. I think the regulators hadn't actually approved a credit union recently. So for everyone, this is a huge milestone. One of the very first credit unions to be authorized for a long time, particularly Sharia compliant. So it's a milestone for the country. It's a milestone for us. It's a milestone for our communities, because our vision isn't a YourB one. It isn't just for us who are the face of YourB, the staff and the members of YourB. No, our vision is that it is an option, a financial alternative for all sorts of reasons. You don't have to borrow from anywhere else other than a credit union. We're better if you're so inclined to go to a Sharia compliant, which is an ethical credit union as well. So it's not just YourB, but the next milestone to watch out for is YourB celebrating our second year, our third year, well into the future. We're counting our milestones by the numbers of members who join us. So we want to reach that milestone where we have more than 1,000 members who've joined YourB right across the UK. How soon can we get there? Very soon, with your help. You can join, members of your family can join as well. And the next milestone we're really looking forward to is when Vanguard proposed credit union are authorized as well. And then after that, more and more. So if you are thinking of setting up anything Islamic, find an organization that's willing to support you the way we were supported by Ansar and the way we were supported by UK Credit Unions Limited. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona. And on that very hopeful note, we will be ending today's event. It's with great pleasure that we've been able to hold this event for the first anniversary of YourB. It's been a difficult year for everybody, so we want to praise and thanks Allah, alhamdulillah. Please, God, protect all of us during these difficult days. Stay safe, stay blessed. You can find out more about YourB on the Facebook page and also on the YourB website. And I look forward to somebody chairing the YourB meetings maybe in 10, 20, 30 years' time to celebrate their birthday. Thank you for ending on that hopeful note, Dr. Munna. And I'll say goodbye to you all. Thank you for attending. Goodbye, everybody.